supposed to do for, and we have done how many so far? And what are the two we have done? We have done subtotal. Okay, we have a subtotal and the duplicate remover, right? So we'll quickly round up that topic and then take another topic. I think we'll be a little bit faster since we are all students. All right, so we'll be using the same data sets, which is the salary payslip. I think we all have this data. Salary payslip. Let's give me a few. We are not even using this. So that let me Can you choose that? Just have to put it. That's it. All right, so we are still on database management tools. We are still on database management. Let's settle that. Now, we started this journey in our last class where I emphasized on the need for you to understand certain functions that are used when handling database. Remember I said database is where informations are collected and what? Stored. Are you with me? And I said as a data analyst, you need to know how to manage such data that are stored in such storage. And for us to be able to do that effectively, we need to have knowledge of some functions, which helps us to manage database. That is why the topic is database what? Management tools, which means that this set of tools or commands, they are basically for managing data storage. And we started with sorting, right? And I said sorting helps us to arrange, to give us a professional arrangement that would help us in terms of retrieving of record from such database. Then we identified two sorting commands, such as ascending order or what? Descending order. We particularize that. Now, we now move to filter, right? So filter, I give us an assignment of filter. I said filter is another powerful database management tool because it helps us to select record based on certain what criteria or condition. And then I took my time to show us how it can be so beneficiary to us as data analysts beyond just the application of that function, how we can twist it to answer what analysis what questions. For example, I said you are given a data set like this. You are given a data set like this, and then you are asked to probably only employees from a particular state. Let's assume you want to select only record from Delta State or state. You are going to use what? Filter to achieve that, right? Now, I don't know because I know this is not meet last week. That is the reason why I'm doing this kind of recapping, for us to connect back. Now, remember I said to answer such question, all you need to do is to activate your filter command on the data range. The data range. What do I mean by that? The length of your data. That is, there should be filter command attached to each of these columns so that I can implement my filtering criteria on any of them, provided if my question is directed to that particular word, feature, or column. Now, in this case now, the analysis question I'm about to answer here is that from this, how many record data set is this? This is about 150 record. Now, out of this, these are employees collected across different states in Nigeria, right? And then we are asked to select only employees record from Delta State, which means that my filtering action will be performed on what? State what? Column. For that reason, the first thing I said we should do, make sure that your active cell is within what? The data set itself. And then proceed to what? Data as a tab, and then you click on what? The filter command. So what that we do is to activate across all the features, across all the attributes, the filter command. Now, like I showed us the other day, you will notice that Excel is very sensitive to know where your data stop. You can see that it did not assign that command towards an empty column. So it started from where you have content and stopped where you have content. So once you have your filter activated this way, the next thing I say we should do is for us to be able to identify where the filter as an operation can be what? Implemented based on what? Your question. Based on your question. What is the analysis question? Select only employees from what? Delta State. So that has informed me that what? I am to perform my filtering operation here. So you must always look at the question, because that is what will help you to know which of the column you have to implement what? The filter on. Now, I also mentioned something. I said in a situation whereby you have multiple unique value under a particular column, you are not supposed to use this method of, just selecting all and pick what? Data. You can see that with this one, I can easily solve the problem. So once I click here now, all these records that we are having, they are only record from where? From Delta State. We have answered the analysis what? Question. Now, remember that as a data analyst, you are expected to study your results in order for you to know how to put your executive report together. Because that executive report is what the stakeholder will use to make what effective decision. Now, as you have filtered out this, what next? That's the question you should be asking yourself. There, you are to study this. Find out how many of them. That could be a soft question that could arise now. Because the company might be interested in, okay, select all the record from data state. Okay, you have done that. Okay, now give us an idea of how many of them, because for statistical purpose, there will be a kind of comparison analysis later, or in terms of investment or carrying out certain operation. They may want to know which of the states they are to concentrate more on. So as a result of that, after you have filtered out this, you simply select all the values you have there and give an update of how many of them. As you can see here, how many of them? There are what? 12 of them. So you are supposed to go to maybe your PowerPoint or your Microsoft Word. At the end of each analysis, you note down your discovery or your findings on that particular word category before you go to the next one. That was the assignment I gave to us. That you should perform this filter at the end of each one. You should take your time to what? To study it. Now, the company can also want to find out maybe the primary reason why they actually ask you to bring out only record from data state is because they want to know the total basic salary, total amount, the total cost of funding all the employees from what? From data state. So if that should be the case, now that they are assembled now, we can easily go to what? The basic salary and highlight all the value there and get the what? The figure here. So I'll go to where I am also documenting my finding and also notes that after filtering out record from employee from data state, these are what and what and what and what I found out. I found out that there are what? 12 number of what? Employee there. And I also found out that it cost the organization the sum of what? These amounts to what? To pay all the employees basic salary from that particular state. Are you following? So now once you have done that, so the next thing is for you to learn how to probably what? Undo it, or you can perform another picture. So like what I showed us the other time, where can we, like what I told us the other time, where can you undo it? Where can you undo it? I explain something. Look at it. If you look at the headers now, outside the filter that came out as soon as we activated it, there is an additional icon that is attached to one of the attributes. Look at this icon, this funnel icon. It's not attached to other. We suggest to you that what? That is where you perform the current what? Filtering operation. So if you want to return the other hidden record, you do what? You simply go to that place and do what? Select what? All. That is the reason why I was saying you need to have documented your finding, because the moment you undo, you no longer have access to that very what? One. Is it clear to you? Good. So this is just to recap what we did last time. Now we now move to the main function for today, which is remember we mentioned how many of them under this. We mentioned which other command again? We mentioned sorting. Remember we did sorting, right? Then we also did the filtering, which is the one I just explained now. And then we also have a duplicates, remover, and what? Stop total. Stop total. Now, let's quickly look at what? Subtotal. It means we are done with the first three, right? Now, I don't want to waste my time talking about what? Duplicate remover. But let me just practice. Or what do you think? Should I still go? Okay, let's still do it. But I felt we have done it before. Now, what do we mean by duplicate remover? Duplicate remover is simply removing identical what? Value in a column. Identical value. For example, now we have many places where Edo is repeated here. Now, I think where we did that, that was when we were designing our analysis what table in our dashboard, right? So, for example, if I create this as my analysis, let me just use this to create analysis dash. And maybe later I'm going to perform comparison analysis where I'll be aggregating the sum of basic salary to what? Maybe states. Definitely, I will need what? To list out all the unique value under what? State. Because here, state Edo is repeated, Kaduna is repeated, Delta is repeated. But you are expected to aggregate the sum of values under basic salary against just one of this entry. Let's say Edo, which means that the value we are going to get there represent all the what? The basic salary from what? All the employee in that particular what? State. So in that case, I will have to copy the whole of this column. Remember, you hold down your control and shift and what? Select everything there. Then control what? C to copy. Then I move to the my dashboard page. I can decide to paste it anywhere. So control what? V. So if that's not work, let me take it again. What did I press?
You press delete.
Okay, the other time, good. So come here and say what? Now I need to remove duplicates. So this is a perfect scenario where duplicate remover is what is needed. I don't want Endo to be repeated. I just want one state to represent what? All the transactions from that or the employees from that what? State. So what I will do is that I will select all the values we have there and then go to data menu, then select what? Remove what? Duplicate. Once you click, Excel automatically through its AI feature we identify the column where you have those values you want to actually what? Remove. Are you with me? So now, because that particular column does not have any label, that is the reason why it's captured as what? Column C. But we should agree with it, say that what? Actually, those values are in what? Column what? C. Then I will just click on what? Okay. So the moment I click OK, you can see that Excel have already notified us that what? It has removed 120 what? Duplicates. From, and we have how many remaining?
So which also means that we have 29 what? Unique states. Supposing you are asked to analyze to find out how many state employees are in that data set. So these are also what open our eyes to know that okay, because I was initially thinking that the information they cut across the whole 36 states, but from this now, including we are 7. So we have record collected from what? Just what? 29 states. So I click. So if you go up now, you discover that what? You have successfully removed what? Duplicates. So let me leave this here because part of maybe the analysis we might do later, we might need this information. But I just use that to explain the concept around what? Duplicate what? Remover. It may not be this particular situation, but you just have to know at what point you want to what? Remove what? Duplicate. Are you following? So, Mr. Mr. Ben, are you following? Hello, are you following?
Yes, sir. Yes, I'm following. Thank you.
Huh?
Yes, I'm following.
Okay.
Thank you.
Now, that will not take us to the next topic, which is what? Sub what? Total. Subtotal. Subtotal. So let's start with the definition. What is subtotal? Now, remember what I told us that all these functions to the general users of Excel, there's a limit they use them. But we as data analysts, we are taking them and constructing them to fit into our what? Analysis. How can we use this to answer analysis question? That is our primary focus. So let's start with the definition. What is this subtotal, right? The subtotal function in Excel is used to calculate the subtotal in Excel is used to calculate a subtotal for a range of cells. It's used to calculate a subtotal for a range of cells. For what? Range of what? Cells. So it actually has the following. Let's look at the subtotal. Let's look at the subtotal syntax. Right. Subtotal syntax. Remember, I have told you before that the word syntax means what? The rule.
Formula.
Since it's a function, let's say we are writing what? Subtotal. Subtotal. I will open this. It's a function. Now, every function is expected to receive what we call parameters or what? Inputs or arguments. And that's what I want to explain before we go for the application. Now, once you write a function like this and you open this parenthesis bracket, what you are saying is that this is a function that is expecting certain input from user. And those inputs or argument is what the function will use in implementing itself to give you what? The desired results. So this particular function has, so you now write what? The subtotal what? Argument now. So you just write argument, close it, then you now bring those parameters or arguments outside. So the first one is the function number. Is the function underscore num. This is the first parameter. Then followed by reference 1, comma, the reference 2, and so on like that. So let me quickly explain what this parameter stands for. What this parameter stands for. Let's start with what? The function what? Num. In other words, what kind of data you are expected to what? To supply in the place of this that the function needs. We are explaining now. I'm starting with that. Number 1, argument. Remember, you write this function num, ref1, ref2. The first under what? Subtotal what? Arguments. These are data that you are giving to the function to perform what? The task. So what is the role of that function underscore num, right? The number of the function to use for the subtotal. So that is where you define, because this function, in a way, is just like a house of other functions. Yes, it houses other sub functions under it. That is one of its advantage. It houses like summation function. It houses like count function. It houses like minimum function, maximum function, standard deviation, and the rest of them. Now, what it's saying is that the function number, you have to define out of those one I mentioned, which one. That is the role of this one. Now you have to supply whether sum or count. So that is what we have to supply here. Out of those functions that it houses, which one of them you are using? Are you getting it now? So let's,
Yes, sir.
I said the number of the function to use for the subtotal. That is the role of this. Are you following? Now, let's look at the next argument, ref1. What is that ref1 demanding for? Ref1. The range of cells to subtotal. The range of what? Cells to subtotal. Now, let me break this down for us to understand. What this is simply saying is that, we have established in the past what we mean by what? The range, right? The range, you're talking about what? If I go back to my Excel now, for you to get it better, we have this range. For example, now, this is D what? 2. So what? If I want to call value from here now. So my range is going to be what? D2 to what? D16. So now, after you have chosen the sum or the count, then you must tell Excel from where to where the value that is going to work with are. That is meaning of what? The ref1. So it can be multi-dimensional, which means that what? Once you pick a sum, you can summarize under different columns. So, but you have to define the range under each of these columns. That's why you have ref1, ref2, and what? And so on. I don't know if you are getting it. Okay. Now, let's look at the summary note before we go for the application. Notes. The benefit of using subtotal for data analysis or exploratory analysis. The benefit of using subtotal for exploratory analysis. Number one, it contains other functions that can be used to perform different aggregate or statistical analysis. It contains other functions. It contains other what? Functions that can be used to perform aggregate what? Or statistical analysis. Aggregate or statistical analysis.
Are you following?
So example.
Statistical analysis.
Yes. Now let's list out some of the functions that it houses. I'm talking about e.g. We have the sum. We have the counts. All these are functions. So you can put your bracket in front of them. We have the count A. I believe you know what that means. Count A. We have done count before now, right? Count A. That's one that can count what? Any type of what? Data. Then we have minimum. We have maximum. All these are functions that you can access under that subtotal, or function that you can use to summarize value. We have products. We have what? Products. We have standard deviation, which is abbreviated to STD. We have standard deviation. We have standard deviation population. If you do statistics, you know that we have standard deviation and what? As in we have the one that this standard deviation, the one without the P, is that one deals with what? Sample. While the one that have is what? The standard deviation what? Population. You go and read normal mathematical concepts around it. You know, but in this case now, we are just calling it what? Standard what? Deviation. Now, so these are functions that you can access through what? What is the main function that is giving us access to all these functions? Let me ask. Subtotal. So you can see it's just like a one-man squad on his own. If I want to do what we are doing with sum if s, I can use this. If I want to do what we are doing with count if s, I can use it because there's count here and so other ones. So if everything I've explained is clear to us, then we can now proceed to what? To the practical steps on how to what? Implement this function called what? Subtotal. Mr. Ben, are you with me? Are you okay with everything we have done so far?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now let's look at the next topic, practical steps on how to practical steps. Steps on how to apply subtotal. On how to apply what? Subtotal. So that will now take us back to our essay. So it's going to give us its own dashboard. So I don't need to create my own dashboard. Yes, it will automatically produce its own what? Dashboard. And then let me give out this guideline. Before applying the piece, you have to make sure that you duplicate the data set you are working with. Because once it transforms this data, you can no longer have access to the raw data for subsequent or for other words analysis. So the first thing I'm going to do is to save this, if this is my raw data, is to save it as, maybe save a copy of it somewhere else, or maybe save a copy for the particular work I'm doing. So let me just differentiate it by adding what? 4 to this one. So which means that what? I still have the old one. Eh? You mean here? Yes, yes, we can copy. Okay, the sheet, right? No. In as much we are working on the same workbook.
Okay.
So now let's look at the application now. Step number 1, we have to identify our analysis question, because that is what will determine out of those functions that it houses, which one of them will be used. Are you going to use sum? Are you going to use count? Depend on the analysis question. So let's write down some questions. So we are using this data set now. Our question, analysis question. Using the salary payroll data, which is the data we are using the salary payroll data, using the salary what? Payroll what? Data. Answer the following questions. Answer the following question. So number 1 question is, what is the total sum of basic salary? What is the total sum of basic salary for all the employees? What is the what? Of what? Basic salary for all the what? The employees. For all the employees.
Sorry again, the question, sir. What is the total?
The total sum. What is the total sum of basic salary for all the what? Employees. Are you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, what the question is actually asking is that, look up, that in this column where you have what? Basic salary, right? You have to add all the values here and give us what? The total. So that is one thing that I want to answer with what? The subtotal. Now, but the reason why I want to, that is one of the, because we are also going to have 3 reports at the same time. Yes, that is what is answering 3 questions at the same time. So one of the questions is going to answer is what I've given you now. It's going to give us what? An answer to what? Adding all these values. So the third question that it will also answer, right? The third question is summarize the basic salary per state. Or let's make it per department. Summarize the basic salary per what? Department. Summarize the basic salary per what? Department.
Is that another question, sir?
Yes. 3 questions we are asking with the subtotal at once. It will give us these 3 questions answers.
Okay, summarize
the same basic salary per department. That is, you can see the reason why the subtotal is here. Sub. That means what? You are totally sub-categorical item. Delta state, sorry, department now, let's say operation is one of the what? The range. You give us the total of it. Marketing is another one. You give us the total of it. Audit is another what? Categorical what? Item. Give us what? That's called subtotal. Subtotal. Are you getting it now? Good.
Yes, sir.
So the next question is display the total number of transactions or entry per department. Display the total number of what? Transaction, or in this case, now this is not sales, so I think we are supposed to use the total number of what? Employees, right? Per what? Department. So that is detailed reporting. Hello, are you with me?
Employees.
Yes. Per department. Per department.
Okay.
Per what? Department. Are you with us?
Yes, sir.
Now, I want to break down what that question means. Look at what it means. Let's assume that we have already gotten the second one. What does that second one say? That means what? We will list out what? That is what the report will list out the unique what? Department, and in front of each of them to now give out what? The total what? Basic what? Salary against each of them, right? That is a kind of one metric value. That is what? It could just be that the result will be 2 million. Now, the company can ask you, okay, that 2 million in front of operation that you are summarizing. Please, I want to know the number of employees that generated that 2 million. Did you get that logic? That means you are to what? List out from here the number of employees that makes up that what? That is detailing in accounting. So, okay, let's get the detail. I want to know how many employees that generated what? Each of these what? Summation. That's third question. Now, these 3 questions will be answered at once by that subtotal. But you know what it will have taken you if you are to go and be using some if, you know, what this at once now, you will actually do some if, count if we come in there. Good. Now, let's go ahead now. Remember, we are writing our step. Where do we stop? Number 1 step, I say what? Get your analysis what? Question. All these what they are under what? The first step, whenever you want to apply what? Apply what? Subtotal. You must first of all sit down and draft out your what? Your analysis question. Now, step 2. Remove.
What is step 1, sir?
Step 1
What is step 1?
Step 1 is draft your analysis question, which comprises everything you have written.
Okay.
Are you with me now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now we are in step 2 now. Now we have gotten all our analysis questions. Now our step 2 is, which is a requirement, remove any existing subtotal. So if for any reason you have already performed any subtotal on that data you are working with, you have to what? Remove them. This command does not tolerate it. Remove any existing what? Subtotal. For example, now, let me show us this. Let's assume that before now, you have done something like this. Sum. You remember we have done something like this, Nabi? And then you now call all this. Let's say for any reason you have done something like this on that data, it's not allowed. You must what? Remove it. There shouldn't be any place within that data where you have done what? Subtotal, or where you have done any form of what? Total. Then the last step before we go for the application is step 3 now. Step 3. Step 3. You must sort. You must sort. You must sort. I can sort it. You must what? Sort the criteria header for the summary. You must sort the criteria what? Header. You must sort the criteria header. Have you written that? Are you with me, sir?
Yes, sir.
Now look up. Let me explain that. What do I mean by the criteria header? Now let's read out the second question. Second question for me, quickly. Second question will give you an idea of which column I'm to sort. What is the second question?
Summarize the basic salary per
Based on what?
Department.
Which means that what? The summary that will take place here, please look up. The summary that will take place here depends on what? Selected, Abi? So that means what? This is the criteria for the what? So this column, all the value there must be sorted either ascending order or what? So that all the operation can be in one place, followed by all the marketing can be in one place. Because if you apply subtotal now, it will put total in front of marketing here and go and put another subtotal in front of what? Another marketing. So you need to what? Sort them so that all the marketing can be serial, then audit, so that it can easily what? Give you the addition of what? Their basic salary. Is it clear, sir?
Yes, sir.
Good. Now, thank God you can see the reason why I started with sort, because now if I have not taught you sort, then I have to go back and show you how to sort. So now let's quickly apply the sort. Remember the criteria for the sort, because the sorting you want to do here should not swap record. That is, you should not end up sorting and this marriage will now switch to what? Marketing. So for that reason, I have to off what? My filter and highlight the whole data so that it will correspond the record as soon as I what? Sort. So are you with us?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the next thing, no, I just click on where I want to start my selection from. Good. No, what I did is that I only specified that I want to start my selection from here. Then I held down Control and Shift and use what? My right arrow to highlight the, like all this, the width. Yes. Then the down arrow, the height, in order to capture the entire what? Data what? Frame. Then after that, I am going to what? Data. I'm going to data. Then remember when I was teaching us, I said you should not use this, any of this shortcut. Because if you are using this shortcut, it means that Excel is automatically sorting this record based on the first column. But our criteria for sorting is not what? Employee ID, which is what? The first column is on what? Department. So that is why I have to go through what? This command, so that I will change my sorting here to what? Department. Then I have nothing to do with what? Here. And I said, you can use any of this order to obtain what you want to do with subtotal. So let me just click here. So now you can see that what? I have assembled all the what? The audits. So it will now be easier for the subtotal to come to total, to come to basic here and add all this value, put it in front of it, go to the next one. Are we getting Lisa? Mr. Ben, are you following? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now,
yes, sir.
So how many steps we have written so far? How many steps?
3.
So step four now. Step 4, select the entire data set after sorting. Select the entire data set after sorting. Select what? The entire data set after sorting. Then, and go to data menu or tab. Go to data menu or tab. Make sure you are looking at where I'm also navigating at. And go to what? Data menu or tab. Now, this is the command you are looking for. Under what? Outline. This is the command. So the next step is what? Select subtotal under outline group. Select subtotal under outline group. Select subtotal under what? Outline what? Group. Under what? Outline group. So now look up. I want us to carefully follow me here now. The moment I click here, look at the dialog box that came out. So you must know how to set display. All this grammar that we are speaking since, you see us implementing them here. Now, what am I expected to do here? So your next step is that, look at the description here. At each change, which means that what you have to pick here is the criteria for the summary, which is what? Department. So changes from whatever you have there to what? Department. So if you have not taken your time to identify the criteria for the summary, then you will be lost when you get here. Which of them? Now, use function. I just told you that there are many functions. You can see them here now. So, but this particular question we are asking have to do with what? Sum. Because the question says, we should summarize basic salary per what department. So I can't go for what? Minimum. I can't go for what? Count. There are so many of them here. Even the ones that I did not mention, you can see them. So I'll make sure that by default is already what? On what? Sum. Now, the next thing is add subtotal to. Add subtotal to. That is what? Where is he going to write subtotal? To what? To this department. Add subtotal to. Now, listen. Add subtotal to is going to be not the department. It's going to be the basic salary. That's what it will add what? Subtotal and give you the what? The answer. Under what? Basic salary. Now, if the questions go beyond just one attribute, if the question is that perform subtotal of basic salary, of departments, of basic salary per what? Department, and also perform subtotal of what? Wardrobe allowance per that same what? Department, or transport allowance per what? That same department. What you will do here, you will select all those ones that are involved. But in this case now, I am just going to select only what? The basic salary. Because the question did not say subtotal beyond 1. If it's subtotal for all that have numbers, starting from here to net pay, you make sure you check all of them at once. But now, which means that what? The subtotal for this will be 0. Here will be what? 0. But under basic salary, you will see what? Value. Is that clear, sir?
Yes, sir.
Now, the next one is replace what? So, peradventure, you did not even remember to remove any subtotal. You permit it here. Then, this one is very important, which says what? Break what? Sorry, break between. That is what? After, you should add additional row. After you have summed up audit, add another row just to demarcate this one at any level where you are presenting the subtotal of a categorical item. Give me additional what? Row, so that I can easily what? Differentiate one value from one item summary from what? The other. So I think we should permit it, right? Then of course, this one must be what? Summarize the what? The value under. Now, I want you to just stay on the screen and watch what will be happening right now. You'll be checking here. Let me move this from here because so that you can notice there will be analysis that will be taking place now. Let me click. Just keep watching. Can you see it? Now everything has been done automatically. Now, if I want to see what we did, now look at what we did now. Audit subtotal is what? Now, if I go down now, compliance subtotal is what? Credit subtotal is what? Now, these are 3 reports it's presenting. Let me go to this sheet 1. Sheet 1 is the first question. Our question 1 is what? Let's go back to our notes. Our first question is what? What does that question say?
What is the total sum? What is the total sum of basic salary for all the employees?
So this is sheet 1 is already what? Giving us what? The answer. I think your answer.
Yes.
Good. Let me go to sheet 2. Sheet 2 is what? What is the second question?
So mine is basic salary for department.
Did you get it now? Then sheet 3.
Yes, sir.
Sheet 3 is what? The breakdown, list out. These are the employees here. Can you see it now? You have the full detail. Look at this. This report is just giving us the value without giving us the breakdown. Now, let me give you the good. Now, if I double click now, good. Now, this one is just showing us the what? The total. If the company asks, okay, want to know the list of, want to see the list of employee that generated what? This. You switch to what? Report what? No, 3. Report 3 will give you the list. This is the list of them. If you switch to here, now where you have employees name, you know them. This is Amara, Prosper, hello. You can give that report. Are you getting it? Good.
Yes, sir.
Now, we did visualization. So we are going to that now. I have taught us visualization, right? As the last thing before I allow us to go and practice it. Now, the second question is that after your analysis, the company wants to know which of the departments have the highest basic salary. I said if you present this with graph under your visualization, remember we have treated that topic. I say what? Data visualization does not only mean graph. It comprises of what? Graph as a model and table. So right now you are visualizing with what? Table. But if I'm to answer that second question now, that says what? Which of the departments have the highest what? That is a trend now. That's a trend, right? You know, if I present this bar graph now, I can easily what? Identify my trend. So see what I'm going to do quickly. I will hide these 2 columns so that my graph will not capture what? This. So how do I hide them? Look at what I did here. Select both of them from the header here, not from this. Select both of them from here. Then right click there, select what? Hide. The reason why I temporarily hide them because I want to plot a graph. And I don't want that graph to capture those empty word columns. Now I can use my quick access. If I highlight these 2 values and I click here and I go to what? Chart and I pick what? Insert chart. Then I pick this. Remember, the issue is that we are not supposed to highlight what? Total. This one should not be included, even though it's going to what? It's going to kind of intimidate this value. So just make sure that your selection stop here. And then click here, go to chart, select insert, then you can see reasonable graph now. So if I click here now and select now, let's go back to that question that says which of them have, which of the department is consuming more funds? Is what? Operation. Look at it here now. Operation department, followed by what? Marketing. Now you are supposed to pick your pen or your PowerPoint or MS Word and start documenting your findings. I told us before now that your stakeholder have no business with all these your technical activities. What they are interested in at the end of the day is your executive report. What are your findings? Now you pick your pen and write, okay, from my analysis, observation 1. Operation departments has what? The highest what? Basic salary, right? Followed by what? Marketing. Then remember I said when you are presenting your finding, the company or the stakeholder are more interested in knowing the highest and the least because it will help them to make effective decision better. Once they know the trend, and then you check your outlier, that is what the difference the highest and the lowest, then you will know whether one item is performing well or Not. So here now, technology and what? Compliance have almost the same. No, compliance. Technology have the least basic what? Salary summation. So now you will not think, you will not sit down as a data analyst. I begin to identify the factor. Why? You know, I told her that under data analysis, we have what? Different what? Analysis. Descriptive analysis, diagnostic analysis, predictive what? Analysis, and what? Prescriptive what? Analysis. And I said each of them answer questions. Each of them what? Trigger what? Questions. Now, the question now is, this everything we have done now falls under descriptive analysis. Now, we are asked as data analysts that why did operation consume the highest what? Fund as far as this organization is concerned in paying what? The base salary. Can we factor anything out? What could be the reason why? There are many things that could good. It could be that that department have more employees. Now you now remember, oh, it's possible. Now you can see the reason why marketing is the next. Marketing in most organizations like bank, they have more employees there because they have to go and create what? Awareness. So in fact, it's very easy for me to know the reason why marketing have what? They hire because they have, but mind you, this is summation, right? This is summation, which means that the factor that could make this to have the highest may not just be the numbers of what? It might be the salary. The salary. Maybe we have admin member in each of these departments that their salaries are very high. Good. No, as in, you know, in the company, we have managers now. We have different, you know, grades now. And so if, for example, now, if technology, we have just casual workers here, maybe their salary is just 10,000. Definitely, their base salary was, summation will be less. I don't know if you get my point. Good.
Yes, sir.
I have taught you how to enhance your graph. I have shown you all this for better what? Presentation. And I've also shown us how you can use this to what? To detail the graph. Particularly like this label. I told us that this label is very important. You can see that what? It will automatically what? Add the value to what? To the bars. So any question?
No.
So if there is no question, we will now go for a break here. And then what you are supposed to do, you go to your system and implement and answer the same question. You should have it now. You can actually use.
No,
you don't
don't
have
have it.
If you don't
The
have.
data sets.
Okay. Let me upload it in the WhatsApp group now so everybody can have it. Let me on my WhatsApp and get it. Let me stop recording from this.